Afghanistan's April 5th election will be a historic moment in the country's history. It'll mark the first democratic transition of power since the fall of the Taliban. Afghan presidential candidate Hidayat Arsala, who served as the senior minister under Mr. Karzai, paid tribute to his accomplishment in promoting free and fair elections and peacefully stepping down from office.
This will be the first time in history of Afghanistan that a president will be replaced democratically and through the will of the people. And he will be the one who will allow that to happen. And I think that's a great honor by itself. So anything beyond that, if he allows manipulation of that transfer of power to any particular person, I think that will undermine him historically.
This week's election was made possible by a constitution that Mr. Karzai helped draft and which prohibits him from running for a third 5-year term. Graham Smith, an analyst with the International Crisis Group, says this vote could cement Mr. Karzai's place in history.
Hamid Karzai will leave behind a very positive legacy in the sense that he will be the father of a democratic, well, relatively democratic nation. And he will also be the first leader to hand over power to a successor in a peaceful way. And that will be the first peaceful transition of power in Afghanistan since 1901. And so, this has potential to be a very positive legacy.
Over the years, Mr. Karzai has been criticized for his failure to fight corruption and stem the Taliban insurgency, but is also seen as a leader who could bring unity to the country's many ethnic groups and factions. Zalmay Khalilzad, the former U.S. ambassador to Afghanistan, says although there have been weaknesses over the course of his presidency, the progress made by Mr. Karzai's administration is considerable.
Well, I think President Karzai's legacy is largely positive in my judgment. He inherited a very difficult situation, a country that was an extremely poor in terms of the economy, in terms of the social development, in terms of state institutions, in terms of relationship between communities. A very difficult situation that he inherited, and Afghanistan has come a long way during his period. He has been a unifier of bringing different communities together. He has not put people in jail because they have disagreed with him. I've had freedom of expression has been respected.
In parts of Afghanistan, schools are reopening, there have been more opportunities for women, and government institutions are strongly functioning. But in other areas, corruption remains rampant, and ineffective governance and widespread poverty foster support for the Taliban. In his final year in office, Mr. Karzai has increasingly distanced himself from the U.S. administration that helped bring him to power, refusing to sign a bilateral service agreement he negotiated that would establish the remaining U.S. force after 2014. Mr. Karzai has said he will leave the decision up to his successor. Amanda Scott, VOA News, Washington.